Hello and welcome, my name is Dr. Dragon and today we're going to be going through 10 problem players. Problem player number 1, the Rules Lawyer. The Rules Lawyer is a player that, no matter what the Dungeon Master does, will always go, well actually this is how it works, and will want to try and play the rules as written. Now, at the end of the day, the DM has the complete right to go, okay, this is how we're doing it, this is how we're going to run it, this is the rule. They have complete say so on what goes on, to a degree. The rules lawyer, however, will constantly, like mid-game, role-play or anything like that, go, oh, actually he can't do that because of this rule, and blah 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 blah. The best way to take care of this player, or I say take care of, the best way to deal with this player is communication. If you are somewhat, as a DM, if you are somewhat new to the game, either being whatever it is, Pathfinder, D&D, Star Wars spin-off, anything like that, if you are new to it, then talk to the rules lawyer. Talk to them and say, hey, I appreciate it that you're trying to help, but try not to do it mid-game. Come to me after the session and just go through with me what you thought I got wrong, and we'll talk about it. Communication is the best way to deal with all of these different players. Now on to the next one. Number 2, the Instigator. The Instigator is that problem player that just wants to pick a fight with anyone or anything, regardless if it's fellow player or NPC. They just want to essentially ruin the game by just being a pain in the backside, basically. They will try to start fights with whoever and whatever, doesn't seem to matter with them. Again, best way, talk to them, find out what their deal is, see if you can come to an understanding or negotiate like a way to deal with this. And if not, give them an out. They can leave the group if they really want to. If they are not here to have fun and play the game, then there's their out. Number 3, the Spotlight Hog. This is the type of player who, no matter what happens, they will metagame almost metagame to a degree where no matter what anyone does, regardless of their skills, if the problem player, the Spotlight Hog wants in, he'll get in. If someone else in the party is talking to a guard or like just trying to find some information, like sneakily find out some information, the Spotlight Hog will try to either tag along constantly or will just insert themselves into the situation. Again, talk to them. Try and find out what's going on and try and find some way of, again, like making everyone happy. Obviously, not always you're going to make people happy, but try and talk to them saying, hey, this is a group activity, this is a group game, there are other players here trying to have fun as well, it's not always just about you. Number 4, the Cheater. I don't understand this type of player. This type of player infuriates me. I do not tolerate cheating in my games. If they do not want to play the game properly, there's the door. That's my kind of attitude towards it. Is it the best attitude? Probably not. But there you are. If this player is cheating either by waiting until the very last second to roll their dice or rolling their dice and immediately picking up, oh yeah, that was a 17. I actually rolled a 12. If they're doing that kind of thing and they're picking it up super quickly and stuff like that, picking up the dice super quickly, it's like, oh, that was a blah blah blah. How did anyone see that? How did you see that? You picked it up so quickly. Yeah, cheating. Again, try and talk to them. Explain to them that it's not acceptable. You're trying to have fun. If you want to play a game that's easier, go play a video game on easy mode. That's the simplest and easiest way to get around this sort of thing. On to number 5, the Power Gamer. Some aspects of power gaming I'm okay with, but when you make a completely overpowered character, game-breakingly overpowered character, that's when you need to have a talk with this player. The Power Gamer will always try and find any type of little obscure rule in any other like little manual or any other like piece of side content from D&D to boost their character, or they will roll unnaturally well on their starting character sheet. When a player gets everything above a 15, that's when you might have to re-roll the character with them, just in case. Yeah, the Power Gamer sometimes can be fine and can be fun even, because it recreates instances and aspects and scenarios that you just did not expect as a GM, and you have fun like running around with it. But when you've got the rest of the party with naturally balanced characters and then the one Power Gamer, that makes the DM's job a lot harder in trying to balancing it for everyone. Even I still have trouble with this kind of thing. Number 6, the Joker. The Jokester, rather. The Jokester can be fun and funny in small doses. Everyone loves a bit of fun in their RPG, their role-playing game, whatever type of system you're running, but the Jokester will constantly be making jokes to pop culture references and stuff like that, stuff that doesn't belong in the world. Some players, again, you just talk to them, figure out why they're doing this sort of thing. Also, another way of doing this, put a little bit more of the spotlight on that player, because then they're getting a little bit more attention, and therefore they'll stop joking around as much. Or if they're not taking the game seriously, then again, talk to them, find out what's going on, and then try and not rectify it, but try and find a way that suits all parties. You know what I mean? Right. Number 7, the Metagamer. And I understand metagaming is a very, very, very hard thing to not do. Metagaming, if you don't know what that means, metagaming is where you use your own knowledge in the place of what your character would know. So say as the DM, I've created a map on a digital application where you can see, as the player, you can see a monster is in the next room. Your player doesn't know there's a monster in the next room, but you do. So you ready your sword and spear and shield or whatever it is you got. You ready your spells and stuff like that. You know that there's a monster in there, but your character doesn't. That's kind of metagaming. That's only a small level of metagaming. When you'll say going up against a monster you don't know, you know there's monsters in that cave, but you don't know what it is. And like say if your characters are all like very brand new adventurers, you've never heard of trolls before. Your characters have never heard trolls before. You as a player might know from a different game that trolls are vulnerable to fire. It stops their regeneration process. They can regenerate health back. Your player doesn't know that, but you do. And you just go, as the player character, you just go, alright guys, everyone get ready, there's trolls. We need to use a lot of fire to stop their regeneration. That is extremely metagamey. Don't do that kind of thing. Again, talk with the player, try and find out a good balance of like, okay, you've got to try and remember always, try not to metagame. Remember, there's a difference between you and your character. What your character knows and what you know. Number 8, the boss/the critic. I normally call them the critic, because the critic is normally that other GM. Someone else who has run games before, they kind of know what they're doing as well when it comes to DMing a game. The way they become a problem is when they start critiquing your game. It's very annoying and very disheartening to maybe someone who's a little bit new to DMing. When someone basically goes, well, that's a bit meh, that's a bit crap, well, that's a bit bleh. Well, that's a bit, no, I would have done it this way. I would have done it this way. I would have done it this way. I would have done it that way. That is very disheartening to, especially new DMs. There is an overabundance of players, but not enough DMs to go around. If you're a critic, stop doing this. We need more DMs. Again, the best way to do it, to deal with these kind of players is, again, talk to them. Why are they doing this? If they want to DM a game, give them a time slot. See what they want to run as well. So then you've got 2 games, not just one to have fun with, rather. Number 9, the flippant player. The flippant player is the player that basically sits back and does this. See how annoying that is? The flippant player is just someone who either is not interested in the game or is just so disinterested in what was going on because they're not in the spotlight maybe. that they just sit back and do absolutely F all. And they'll basically just go, yeah, 11. And they just go back to texting. Or scrolling Twitter or whatever they're doing. Texting their spouse, whatever, it doesn't matter. The flippant player is someone who just doesn't seem to care about the game, the scenario, or whatever it is that they don't care about, whatever's happening at the time. Again, this is a little bit more difficult to deal with, because the flippant player that doesn't seem to care is normally the one that will just go, meh, alright, and leave. That's not what you want. You want more players. We want players to stay in the groups. And if they can't stay in the group due to whatever reason, then yes, fair enough. Or if they don't want to play anymore, fair enough. It's all up. That's up to them. It's their life. It's their time. They can do what they want. But when the DM has put in a monumental effort into crafting a world and crafting NPCs and a place in a story for players to go through and run through, have fun with, it's very, very disrespectful. Very, very, very disrespectful. I cannot get across how deflating it is for a DM to look at all his players and see all the good stuff that's going on with all the rest of the players, but that one player that's just on their phone, not really caring. It's very deflating. It's very, very deflating. But again, talk to the player, see what's going on. Ask them why they're maybe not enjoying, if they're not enjoying themselves. If they are, then why aren't they paying attention? Things like that. Just ask, and thou shalt receive information, hopefully. Number 10, the I'll do nothing / true neutral player. I understand the wanting to be a true neutral player because you're not, especially if you're a new player to D&D, you're not 100% sure where you want to take your character, what kind of like nuances you want. Like if you want him to be like more on a good side or more on a bit of an evil side, again, it's up to you sort of thing. But true neutral players that play their characters literally true neutral and do nothing when the rest of the players, say if you're, as a group, you're interrogating like an evil guard or something like that, the rest of the players are about to do something, like they're gonna like try probe him for information, and you're just like, I'll do nothing, and that's your response for any time the DM says, what do you do? That's not really how true neutral works. True neutral, to give an example, true neutral is best summed up in my own mind as, oh, well, I freed the slaves. I'm not going to take them in. I'm not going to take them anywhere. I freed the slaves. It's up to them to survive now. It's up to them to do what they do. That's a good example of true neutral. I freed the slaves. It's up to them now to do to like escape this area. I opened the cage. Their turn now. That's a perfect example of true neutral. Again, try and talk to your player. Try and explain to them, hey, true neutral is not you do absolutely nothing. If you're doing absolutely nothing, what's the point in you being here? Go away. That concludes our list. If you enjoyed this episode, please let me know in the comments below. Also make sure you hit that subscribe button and that ding dong, that notification bell to get updates whenever I upload a video. Anyway, I will see you next time. So peace, bye, I love you guys.